everybody. I want to do a response video to 3D archery. I saw a video today from his feed. He was talking about brace height and how changing your brace height changes the poundage of a bow. And I was surprised to find his conclusion was that changing your brace height does not change the poundage of his bow. That was his conclusion. I don't think it's right. And I've done a few tests here on my tiller just out of the frame, and you'll see those in this video. And I think those tests show that changing the brace height does change the poundage of a bow. And on top of that, I hate to do this to you, Greg, but I want to read from the Bowyer's Bibles. So this is volume 1, and let me see if I can get an angle here where you can see the text itself, so you're not just taking my word for it. This is on page 47. It's Bow Design and Performance by Tim Baker, and he's talking about string height. He says, within a reasonable range, a lower string or a lower brace height yields faster arrows. Picture two identical bows strung 7 inches high, drawing 50 pounds at 28 inches. Lower the string on one bow to 4 inches. At 28 inches of draw, this bow's weight, this is the bow with the lower brace height, this bow's weight will drop to about 47.5 pounds. Its first few inches of draw will now be considerably weaker than the 7-inch bows. When plucked, the string feels limp and sounds dead. The 7-inch bow feels taut and robust. Intuitively, we would know the 7-inch bow will throw an arrow farther and drive it deeper. But, he says, as repeatedly is true in archery design, intuition has led us astray. I am focused here, right? Okay. The 4-inch bow, despite its lower weight and spongy early draw, will outshoot the 7-inch bow by a couple of feet per second. It does so because a low-strung bow stores more energy. More energy is stored principally because a 4-inch string, a 4-inch brace height, means that the string travels 24 inches, while a 7-inch string travels only 21 inches. So what he's saying is the important factor here is the power stroke. So a lower brace height gives you a longer power stroke. We see that with crossbows too. You can say a crossbow is a couple 100 pounds, but it's really imparting the same amount of energy as perhaps a longbow with a longer power stroke. So more energy is stored, principally because of the power stroke. At 10 inches of draw, the 4-inch string has been drawn 6 inches, and the bow weighs 13 pounds. The 7-inch string has been drawn only 3 inches, and the bow weighs 9 pounds. A high-strung bow is more strained. Tips in this case are advanced 3 inches farther, causing considerably more bend, and therefore more limb strain. And he says, for this reason, low-strung bows can be left strung longer and they take less set and are in less danger of breaking. But there are disadvantages to low string heights. If not identically spined, arrows tend to spray right and left as they struggle to paradox around the grip. A low string slaps the wrist. You find a personal string height which balances performance and comfort. Hunters need to make sure that the feathers don't scratch on the bow So hunters might want a higher brace height, he says. I'm kind of paraphrasing at this point. Varying string heights on a recurve bow causes larger performance differences than on a straight stave bow because low strings make contact lower on the curve of the recurve, and the bow is therefore even shorter during early stages of draw. Sorry, so that's really about all he says here in this volume. But what I find really interesting is this forced draw curve he's got here. So the dotted line is for a bow that's been braced at 4 inches, and the solid line is for the bow that's braced at 7 inches. And it's you can see the line, so draw weight's up here. So the area under the curve is what matters for energy. And you can see that the dotted line stores more energy. But then also what's puzzling to me is the dotted line is above the solid line. So the dotted line has more poundage during these early stages. But then the lines cross up here. The lines cross, it looks like maybe 26, 27 inches. And he's only drawing to 28. But they cross just enough that the lower strung bow is at a lower poundage at 28 inches. And my thinking is that this cross might happen at different places depending on the design of the bow and a bunch of different factors. So really, to test this out, you might have to do a full forced draw curve on your bow, which I didn't do, but I think this graph here that he has is representative of a longbow, and the tests I did are longbows, so I kind of fit into there. Lowering a bow's brace height actually increases the poundage of the bow in the early stages, but then the two overtake each other, and at a long draw the lower braced bow will have a lower poundage, even though it will store more energy for the shot because it's been drawn farther and it has a longer power stroke. But when you're bracing a bow higher, you're shortening the string, so you're stressing the limbs more, and that stress is it's seeing the tips bend more, it's stressing the bow more, it's more likely to break, and it's storing more poundage then, more resistance. It's just the fact that your power stroke is shortened that's really getting you there. So it could be that during the tests that Greg did on 3D archery, maybe something's up with the draw curves of his bows. Maybe they basically intersect at 28 inches, so he got the same results. Maybe you'd get different results if he drew them a little bit farther, if that's okay to do on your bows. It's not really I'm not going to do that with my wooden ones, but yeah, so I do think lowering the brace height lowers the poundage at 28 inches. And raising the brace height will increase the poundage at 28 inches. But in the test that I did here, I raised the brace height by about 2 inches, and it only resulted in an increase of maybe 2 or 3 pounds at a 28-inch draw, if that. So I can understand how archery manufacturers would give your bow a rating, a weight rating, say 50 pounds at 28. And they're not necessarily lying to you, because even if their recommended brace height range, the poundage is only going to change plus or minus like 1 pound from 50. So they're not lying to you. It's just they're not bothering to be that precise. That's about it. It's more complicated, and when you change the brace height on a bow, you change a lot of the dynamics. And I think the fact that 3D Archery changed his brace height and got the same poundage at a certain draw length, I think that's kind of a fluke. Yeah. So I got my longbow. It's braced. This is how I would hold it. So it's braced at about, I'm just going to measure from the inside. It's braced at about 5 1/4. Yeah, 5 1/4 inches from the belly to the string. And let's see what it pulls at 28. Okay, scale reads 0. $76. Yeah, that was about 76 again. Alright, that's about it. 76. Scale reads 0. $28. I think that read 79. That again. $28. Scale reads 78, 77. Not quite happy with this. Hold on. Let's try it again. It is seriously coming out inside. Here, check this out. That's a little bit past 28. That was 78, 79. I was thinking you could read it from back there on the phone camera. I hope you can. Let's try over here and then you can probably read it. Hold on. Okay. Let's see if you can read it now. I'd say that's 78. That kind of went down to 77. Let's try it again here. Oh, scale's being done. Okay. Wow. When I first get there, the scale reads like 78, but then as I kind of sit there, it goes down to a 76 again, I think. So this bow has a string made of spider wire fishing line. Focus on the string maybe. There we go. It's made out of fishing line, spider wire. It's back before I realized that bowstring material was cheaper than fishing line. Okay, I'm gonna do one more round of testing. We're at the bow's normal brace height. Here. 6.5. That's scale reads 0. About 76. About 78. 78, 77, 76.7. Maple bow. It's at about 7 inches, which is more than a thumb, a bit higher than usual. I'm gonna weigh it at 28. Dacron B50 string. $50? $49? Yeah, we got it to stop at 49. Okay, let's. There we go. 50, 49. 50, 49. Okay, 4 3/4. $28, 47, 48 pounds. You can see here the brace is about 7 inches on my tiller when it was 9 before. I've dropped roughly 2 inches. $47. $47. So we're going to do some more testing. This is a Howard Hill style longbow. It's Ben Pearson. It's rated 70 at 28. I have it braced here at about 3 3/4 inches. So really low. Normally I have it braced at a thumb height. It's about 68. I think that's the exact same weight. 68.8. There. Ben Pearson, Howard Hill style, 7-inch brace height. I think, judging on this, I would normally shoot it at about 6 3/4. £70. So we've gone up by about 2 pounds. Scale reads 0 again. That got up to 71. No, come on. There we go. 69. 69 and a half. 70, 69 and a half. New test, PSE Razorback. Call it 7-inch brace height. I think on this example, this will be the low, because I can't lengthen this string anymore. It's an endless loop string. So the only thing I can do from here is twist it up. It's basically not twisted right now. So 7-inch brace height. Let's see if it fits on the tour. Scale reads 0. $36.8. $36.04. $36.48. That's definitely higher. That's about 7 3/4. Let's just test it there. I went up about 3/4 of an inch. $36.37. $36.37. $36.37. That's really weird. That is exactly the same, if not a little bit lower than it was. You can see the strings at about 10 inches. I don't know. I didn't note what it was before, but it should have been more like 9. There's something fishy going on with recurves. That's 38.24 at about 29, which is as far as I can pull. $37.8. Okay, let's go back down to a more normal brace height and let's pull it that extra inch. See what I get. Unfortunately, that's as far as I can go on this tillering setup. Yeah, now we're back down to about 7 inches. Scale reads 0. There's 28. 36.15. $37.5. I think we might be seeing a little bit of a difference there. But we're talking like literally 1 pound. $37.5. I think that's the same number. Yeah. I think this holds true with my theory though. We changed the brace height about 1 inch and we got a change in about 1 pound. It's just we had to pull it an inch farther to see that change. So that means that somewhere in here there's a draw length where both of them should be exactly the same. And it's probably right in there. That was 36.5. That was a bit past 28. So somewhere around 28 is where both bows have exactly the same poundage. So it all goes back to this chart here. So you can see the 4-inch bow, which is the dotted line, it stores more energy simply because it's got that early start. And it's adding that 3 inches to that power stroke. The slope of the dotted line is less steep. And so if you transpose to the line this way to match up with the 7-inch bow, the dotted line would be storing less energy. I'm not sure what we would call that slope. Maybe you could call it like the spring constant or something. Basically, for every inch that you pull the 7-inch bow, you're getting more poundage. And that the two cross up here, and that's just a matter of the slope of the lines. So really, you're going to see a better effect out of a higher brace height if you're able to draw it longer. If you took this curve out to 32 or maybe 34 inches with some Asiatic draws, you'd really see the difference, because it would start to spike. But it's at about 27 or 28 that they meet up, which is really interesting to me. And I'm sure that meetup spot changes with the type of bow. I saw that with my recurve, the poundages were a lot similar when I changed the brace height, but I think they still changed a bit, and I think that still fit this model. I changed the brace height on my recurve about 1 inch, and I saw about maybe 1 pound's worth of change at 29. They were basically the same at 28, I think. It changes a lot in the early stages and in the late stages of a really long draw. But when you're talking about a typical longbow at 28 inches, changing the brace height a full 2 inches, which is pretty extreme, only showed me a difference of 2 or 3 pounds at 28.